help you with this, it'll be great. So we're going to start off with a couple pictures of what it looks like. You'll see the canopy on the kitchen dining room table upside down when we put it together with the hardware. And let me just say the directions they're very dark and hard to understand. So what we did was we took it, put it together the best we could figure with the directions, and it was a little bit heavy because I'm 72, my wife is 71, so we called up my son to come over, and he's out there now looking at the directions. Now, the one thing we had was to mount the hardware onto the ropes, which was, the picture was just not really that great, and we dropped the ropes down to make it easy for us to reach. But that didn't work out because we had everything backwards. So we had to take the ropes, the hardware off the ropes 2 or 3 times to get it. Finally figured it out. And my son now, he just picked this thing up like it was featherweight, this top, and it's really nice. It's not as very thin. It's solid vinyl, some sort of vinyl, and you know it's got nuts and bolts to go through it, and it's nice. It's made good, and for the money, I mean, who wants to try to spend $600, and I need it for the shade. In the summertime, it gets really hot over here. You know, in the sun, I've already got skin cancer once, so I don't want to get it again. So we bought this thing, and I wear a hat, of course. So here's my son now. He just walks right up and steps up on the tractor and puts it into the socket. This is the way they advertise it. Real easy, and it is easy. This is the initial installation. After we figured it all out, and he just lifts it up on there, and we're tightening up the bolts on the bracket that bolts onto the ropes, and getting it lined up. And you know, it took we figured 2.5 hours to do the whole job, which wasn't too bad considering. And I mean, if you figure the money that you save from $600 down to $200, you know it's worth it. Now we only needed a few tools. Pair of pliers, pump pliers. We use the just nuts and bolts that we use. My wife's little electric screw gun, battery operated screw gun, to tighten them up. That made it really easy. And you need the pliers like to just bend on the edge of the canopy with the bracket, kind of like you need a pair of pump pliers to squeeze it so you can get the nuts and bolts through, which wasn't too bad. Like I say, I had these ladders put out there because I thought we would be able to lift it up off the ladders, but it's not easy to have my son come over, believe me. And he did it pretty fast, so it was just like 1, 2, 3, and it was done. The biggest thing was tightening it up so it wasn't flopping all over the place. And there is some movement to it, but you know, that's tractor bounces all over the place, the seat bounces all over the place. You know, so basically, it's strong too. They say somebody wrote in, "Can you put a light bar on it?" And they said no. I have a small light that I'm putting on it, and I'm going to do is put it's a magnetic base. I'm going to put glue with silicone rubber. You know, it comes in the caulking tube. Glue the metal plates. There's 2 4-inch round plates I'm putting down onto the top of the canopy, and then I'm going to glue them down with silicone rubber, and then my magnetic base of the light will sit right there. So you're not drilling any holes into it. You can always get the rubber off easy enough when if you want to take it off. Now the magnet on this light is really, really good. It's very strong. So, and this way I don't have to drill any holes in it. They say you can't not to drill holes in it, but I don't. Personally, they got holes all over the place with nuts and bolts, so I don't see the problem there. If you need to. But a light bar, what kind of a light bar are they talking about? My light bar is only like a 12 inches by 6 inches, and you know, it's not a problem. It has a 9-foot cord on it, which the light will have to be mounted in the rear of the canopy on the top. But the cord just make it to the cigarette lighter on the tractor, the 1025R tractor on the fender. So you got to figure that when you're mounting. You know, we tried lowering the whole ropes down with the canopy on it. Well, and it's heavy. It's too heavy. You can't do that unless you're a muscle man, and we're not. So we pulled it back up and set it in place. And tomorrow we're going to put the metal plates, the whole thing up on the canopy, the white, which is really nice. So now we'll see what happens after that. But this picture now, we're still going through the process of tightening up the canopy bolts on the ropes. It needed to be adjusted slightly. So we needed a ratchet and I think what else do we need? A ratchet and a pair of pliers to squeeze it. See, my son is now moving the canopy. It's a little bit loose, so we had to tighten it up. And we're bouncing around this place I've got here. I really like it. Geez, for the money, and you can't really beat it. You know, it's big. It's a 48 by 52, I believe it is. That covers the cab area, and some of the controls in the back. On the back, I'll have the back on. My wife is there supervising. She's good. She's helping out a lot with the tools, and she actually put the canopy together. You couldn't do it by yourself. I don't think you need it. It comes in two pieces, and you have to piece it together with a plastic strip. And then you have to bolt the steel brackets across that and bolt them down to hold the two pieces together. That takes 2 people. Unless you've done it before, maybe you could do it by yourself. But I didn't do it myself. I had my wife help. She was great. 71 years old, works like a horse. I can barely walk anymore. I've had a lot of problems, but I'm still doing some work. As you see, I have another video of taking out a stump in my front yard. We redid the whole front yard last year with the tractor. We planted grass seed down, and not looking too bad. This is my second video, and I'm using Filmora video program, which has problems with audio. The audio skips, like it has the hiccups, go tick, 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 tick. And I can't figure that out. It's just making me crazy. And in fact, I'm probably going to have to buy another video program because of that. And there's my arm there looking up and supervising. If you notice, I have the wrist band on there to control the camera, which I'm holding. I actually have a hard hat. I put the camera mounted. It's like a GoPro. It's not a GoPro. It's a Casa. Really good 4K camera. It's only under $100. It takes beautiful pictures, always in focus. I mounted on a hard hat with a chin strap. I don't think I'm using that now. I'm using the stick, the wand, And with the hard hat, wherever you're looking, it's photographing. And I was absolutely amazed by how good the pictures came out with the camera. So I'm going to be doing that again. So the wristband there controls the camera on, off, for still shots and video. And that's the Casa camera. This picture is a 4K camera, Casa, and it's on the what do you call it, that little magic wand there. You pull that telescopic pole at this point. And you'll see at the end of the video where I push the camera up on the pole, walked around the tractor. It looks like I got a drone, So I'm really happy with the camera. It was under $100. It's a great camera. I bought 3 batteries for it, so that I always have fresh batteries to stick in there. And that's the only camera I've been using. I think I might have used my still camera for a couple of shots in the beginning of the hardware, which was laid on the floor. Took it out of the box, laid it on the floor. The box is about half the size of the canopy when it comes. And you have to, like I said, put the 2 pieces, the left and rights together. And it's solid. When it's put together, it's like one piece. Like I said, it's nice. But the money, you can't beat it. I would recommend it. Definitely recommend it. Now, in the wintertime, I'm going to try to buy one of these not Harbor Freight, but Shelter Logic, I think it is, 20 by 13 with tents to put it in for the winter. I hope it holds. This thing, tents is plenty big enough for this tractor with the canopy. This canopy is, I think, off the ground now, we're about 7 foot. And my son said 6 or something, or 8. So we should get through the 8-foot door, we hope. And if I have to, I'll dig the floor out a little bit. So it'll get in. I'll get it in. This thing, we've had it sitting outside covered with a tarp during the bad weather, and even in the summer, because the paint will fade on you, maybe. I hope not, and it's held up really good. Now it's time to give it a good cleaning again after the winter because of mud and everything. We use it for plowing snow and digging, a lot of digging here on my property because it's about an acre and a quarter, or an acre and a half, but I think it's an acre and a quarter. But it's all up and downhill. You know, it's like from the road up to the back of my property is probably 100 feet elevation. It's like 3 levels. The house is on one level, what you see here. There's a park. Check it out, and goodbye. See you next time.